Think about where you were in 2020. Really think about it. The plans you had, the person you were, the world as you knew it. Now look around. We're almost in 2026, and everything has shifted. Not all at once. That's not how life works. It happened piece by piece, day by day. Sometimes so gradually we didn't even notice until we looked back and realized nothing was the same anymore. Time was weird like that. It doesn't care if we're ready for what's coming. It doesn't wait for us to heal from the last blow before delivering the next one. It doesn't pause while we figure things out, catch our breath. Time just keeps moving forward, relentless and unstoppable, and we have no choice but to move with it. Whether we're ready or not, whether we're healed or not, life demands that we keep going, and somehow, against all odds, we do. Let's be real about what happened in these years. We lost people we never thought we'd lose. And I'm not just talking about death, though that happened too. I'm talking about relationships that ended, people who walked out of our lives, friendships that faded, connections that broke. We thought some of these relationships would last forever. We built our sense of normal around certain people being here, and then they weren't. We also learned to live with questions that never got answers. Why did that relationship end? Why did things happen the way they did? Why them and not someone else? Some questions just don't have answers, or at least not an answer we'll ever get. And that's one of the hardest lessons life teaches us. Sometimes we have to make peace with not knowing. The losses weren't just personal either. Jobs disappeared, careers we spent years building vanished overnight. Plans we carefully laid out got completely destroyed. Dreams we held onto for so long, we had to abandon them and figure out new ones. It wasn't what we signed up for, it was what happened, and we had to deal with it anyway. Here's the truth. We're not the same people we were in 2020. We can't be. You can't go through what we've all collectively been through and come out unchanged. Some of what happened broke us, really broke us. There were nights when getting out of bed felt impossible. Days when smiling felt like lying. Moments when we genuinely wondered if we make it through. And maybe you're different now in ways you didn't want to be. Maybe you're sadder. Maybe you're more cautious, less trusting. Maybe you build worlds you never had before. Maybe you look at the world with more skepticism, less hope. That's real, and it's okay to acknowledge that. Change isn't always growth in the Instagram quote kind of way. Sometimes it's just change. Sometimes it's survival leaving its mark on us. But here's the other side of the coin. Maybe your own soul stronger. Maybe you discovered depths of resilience you didn't know you had. Maybe you learned who really shows up when things get hard. Maybe you figured out what really matters and what's just noise. Maybe you became more empathetic because you felt real pain. Maybe you became more authentic because pretending felt too exhausting. Change cuts both ways. But listen, through all of that, through every loss and every change and every moment you thought you couldn't survive, you're still here. You're still waking up. You're still trying. And that counts for something. That counts for a lot, actually. You made it through years you didn't think you survive. Let me say that again, because it deserves to be said. You survived years that felt unsurvivable. Days that felt endless. Nights that felt impossible. Losses that felt unbearable. And yet, here you are, listening to this podcast, still in the game, still showing up to your life. That's not nothing. That's not small. That's actually pretty incredible. Because giving up would have been easier, right? Staying in bed, shutting down, checking out, these options were there. but you didn't take them. After everything, you chose to keep going. You chose to keep trying. You chose to still be here. So where do we go from here? How do we move forward, carrying all this change, all this loss, all these scars? I think we do it by acknowledging that we're different now, and that's okay. We're allowed to be changed by what we've been through. We're allowed to be a little broken, a little worn out, a little less idealistic than we used to be. But we also get to decide what we do with that change. We can let it make us bitter, or we can let it make us deeper. We can let it close us off, or we can let it make us more compassionate toward others who are struggling. We can let it convince us to give up on new dreams, or we can use everything we've learned to build something even more meaningful. The point is, you've already proven you can survive the worst. You've already made it through the fire. And now the question is, what are you going to do with this hard-won strength? How are you going to honor the fact that you're still here? Life between 2020 and now has been a lot. It changed us, broke us down, and forced us to rebuild. But we're still standing. Maybe we're standing differently. Maybe we're standing on shakier ground. But we're standing nonetheless. And that resilience, that stubborn refusal to give up, even when everything felt apart, that's the foundation of greatness. You're stronger than you know, simply because you're still here. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If this resonated with you, share with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep going and never stop believing in yourself. Thank you.